Welcome to Business Women Australia's radio show, proud station sponsor. I'm Sally Barker. Each week, I'll be talking with a leading member of BWA. These inspiring business leaders are very generous in sharing their stories, insights, and expertise. Joining me on the show today is Dinse from Start Consulting. How are you, Danny?
Hello, I'm great, thank you.
Now, we're talking today about the keys to surviving in a constantly changing business environment. Now, no one can dispute that the business environment is constantly changing. However, we do need to learn how to change with it. It's not just something that we automatically go with. Is that correct?
Absolutely. In fact, if we look at what's happening today around us, the types of changes and the rate of change is increasing. But also bringing technology into the changes and the business environment is actually forcing us to change. If you looked about 10, 15 years ago, clients or customers would be looking locally. They wouldn't have access to the amount of information they have today. In this way, they've just got so many more options. We're actually being forced to adapt and change the way we work with customers as they're more demanding now. So yeah, what's to do though? You know, the main thing also about the financial side of the economy changing is very significant and certainly a big issue for businesses to think about. But the old method of just doing nothing or cutting costs is also not a great approach. Puts you on the back foot, doesn't allow you to exceed in areas where you could be. One of the companies that you may know from days of old is Kodak. And when the advent of cameras on phones came about, it was really interesting to see that Kodak thought that wasn't a great or a big deal, but it actually really blew up and was very popular in the market. And as a result, Kodak actually fell behind and they didn't make change or take the initiative to step forward. And so businesses in this time of economy, when they're just cutting costs or trying to wait it out, they could be taking a different approach. So my view and my experience has been is that you need to create an environment where your company can adapt to those changes. We're going to continue to see that rapid rate of change. We're going to continue to see innovation and disruption or things that have changed the way our clients and our customers want to receive things. So we need to be able to adapt. And the best way to do that is to create that environment inside your company.
And how can we do that?
Yeah, of course, that's the number one question. You know, one of the things that you could say is have a great idea. Have a great idea and pick a great strategy to follow. However, even a great idea, if it's not implemented well, actually loses value and you don't end up getting the results that you wanted. So that the key to creating the adaptable workforce is creating change management practices alongside those initiatives, so that people in your organisation have a chance to learn and change and adapt to new behaviours they're being expected to develop. When a business model changes or the way a business works changes, or you put something new into a business, even if it's a new premises, you're asking people to change away from the way they've been working into new styles and new methods. People need time to adjust to that. They are used to working a certain way, and as a result, change management practices inside of a project or inside of a company help create that environment and supports people to go through that actual change of behaviour. They're also building capabilities. Talking about technology, it's obviously very prevalent and one of the main reasons why you might make a big project change or a new initiative in your company or change the way that you do business. And I think that when you are asking people to work with technology in a different way, you need to really give them time to take up that capability.
So I think you use the word forced. And I think when we think about being forced to do something, there is going to be a period where you are a little bit uncomfortable, where you might be not willing to go ahead and learn those new things. So as an employer or a boss or business owner, do you need to take that into account?
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the big parts of understanding that in your business, your people are your biggest asset. And you can have a great idea, but if you don't enable your people to adopt and understand that change and grow those new skills, they will separate from it. One of the greatest stories I've heard is I've gone to get a report from somebody and they've said, "Oh no, we don't use that system. I go to Jen and she gets it done for me." Or they've moved to a new premises, which is meant to really improve the productivity of the way people work, and it's meant to be great for their customers. And I've seen that staff in that company don't enjoy the environment, they don't know how to use it, and as a result, they've been separated from the change itself. So it's almost like the change has been installed without them knowing that it's part of them. And so the company needs to take that into account and get to the point where they work with people to take feedback on board, let them go through that cycle of adjustment, support them with new learning, new skills, and enable them to be part of the change and really be part of it at the end. And so we would call that a fully implemented change rather than just installing it.
So do we need to have someone come in as a change management consultant? Do we need to have someone to come in to, maybe if you are the business owner and you recognise that you're not handling that transition very well with your employees, do you need someone to be a buffer in that respect?
Yeah, great question. In my experience, whether it's a large or a medium to small sized organisation, having somebody focus on the change management aspect of a project or helping a company develop that environment is really important. It's usually a dedicated person. You wouldn't assign a partial duty to this role. Having somebody who's experienced, who's actually been able to demonstrate the results that suit your environment, suit your culture, suit your type of business and the way you do business. And then thirdly, not doing too much at once. So it's really important. Obviously, things are changing. You've got lots to do. Your leadership will be valuable when you pick a direction, pick an amount of change that's going to not disrupt your crew or your team too much, and allow that change manager to work with your organisation and work with those projects to help those new changes come to be, those new behaviours come into practice, and people to really adjust and fully get involved with the change so that they can enjoy it and be successful and productive.
So I remember it would be 20 years ago now, I was working for a company and all of a sudden we had this conference call. So we're all on these telephones on this conference call, and the owner of the company, was a national company, decided that everything's going to change and we're doing it a completely different way. And for once I spoke up and said, I'm not really comfortable with this. And he said, well, then you're not right for our company. And that was the end of it. So I wasn't willing to, all of a sudden go, everything's changing. And that was the end of things.
Yeah, and that's a great reaction, because one of the things that an employer or an organisation would think is, I've got this great strategy, we have to do it. It's critical that our business takes this journey. We need to be able to link in with people like you in the organisation so that your feedback in a constructive way, positive, negative, let's say constructive, can help the leadership team and the organisation itself pivot, adapt and bring that change to bear into the organisation so that it would be really useful. So with the conference call or that type of technology, enabling you time to learn about it, or even give feedback as to how you would do it, etiquette with each other, and information, and just getting a chance to play around with it could have made a real difference there.
So would you say that is the key, understanding and listening, to if you are thinking about making some of these changes?
I think the understanding and listening is central to creating the environment and really is good change management. I think traditionally when we look at project management, it's create something and implement it. The communication and listening comes with change management and good people-centric change management. So yeah, it is a key, and creating that environment is what's going to get you across the line and help you adapt through many of the different initiatives and changes in the environment. Yes.
So if we don't change, we really won't survive. Is that what you're saying? Yeah,
and we've got lots of examples that demonstrate that as well. As I said before, with Kodak, and I think one of the things I'd like to say is that, as in a comparison, athletes, when they're training for a race and they're coming to the top of a hill, they don't slow down when they come to the top of the hill. They actually accelerate at the very top so that they can outpace their competition once they've reached the top of the hill. With an organisation, when there are challenging times or a hill, the best thing for you to do is to outstrip and outpace your competitors by thinking, what can I do now to create that momentum and push me forward and make me successful? To do that, you need your environment and your people behind you and really understanding the types of changes that you want to put in place. Just waiting for that race to continue won't keep you in front of your competition and out there with great customer results and great products in the marketplace. So creating those initiatives that are going to take you forward during challenging times, or embracing the change, is what you need, and bringing on board an environment where you are listening, where you are talking to your people and putting them into the change and really implementing your changes. So creating that environment that allows you to implement change.
And you did mention with those changes, it's very important, and they are some buzzwords at the moment, innovation and disrupt. So when you mentioned having that idea, that idea needs to be innovative, but it also needs to be disruptive.
It will enable you, the more disruptive, I would say, or the more of a leader you are in your space compared to your competitors, the more of a leader you are with your customers in understanding what they need. It will make you disruptive and will make you go fast or put you in front of your competitors. It is what will take you to the next level in this current market. You can't do that easily, so if you have that environment where you can adapt and your people understand the types of initiatives you want to take to really step in front of your competitors and be great with your customers, that will benefit you significantly.
Well, hopefully some of our listeners have taken that on board and are not becoming stale in their business and are thinking about ways that they can disrupt, innovate and move their business forward to the next level. So thank you so much for sharing all that with us, and thank you for joining us on Business Women Australia's radio show. Dinse from Start Consulting, our station sponsor.
Thank you.
Thank you.